I'm here today to film a book tag that I meant to film ages ago because I am a slacker, and that is the Pellinor Book Tag created by the lovely Pippa, so stay tuned to see what my answers are. Hello everyone, it is Samantha and I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm here today to film a book tag, which I haven't been doing very many of these, so you know, it's good to throw them in sometimes because they are pretty fun to film. And I am here today to do the Pellinor Book Tag, which was created by the really sweet and lovely Pippa over at the blog Little Book Owl. And her and I both love the Pellinor series by Alison Croghan. It's like a very underrated fantasy series that you never hear anybody talk about, but it is so good. So good. I'm actually due for a reread. It's been several years since I've read it, and it's just your typical kind of epic fantasy, you know, young girl from a horrible background sets out to fulfill her destiny. But it's really good. It features very strong characters. It features a kind of a unique storyline. Some very unique things happen, and some twists and turns are thrown in there. And as you guys know, I read a lot of fantasy. I've read a lot of fantasy for like the past 17 years. So I'm pretty critical of a lot of fantasy. There's a lot that I don't like, but this is good. And she also loves it, Pippa does, and so she created this book tag, and she's asked me to do it a long time ago, and I'm such a jerk, and I haven't filmed it yet. And today I'm here to rectify that. I'm sorry for it taking me so long to film it, but here I am today to film it, and there's some pretty great questions, so let's get started. So this tag, the questions are based upon the books and the characters. So the first one is The Gift, which is book 1, and for this one you have to choose a book that kept on giving, so it's a book that stuck with you long after you read it. I'm going to give this to Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery, one of my favorite childhood stories and series. I love Anne. She makes me feel very happy and full of love and hope and peace, and it's always stuck with me ever since the first time I read this. My mom had me read the series when I was a kid, and it's stuck with me since then. Hence the reason I'm in the middle of like my 4th reread, and I love this series so much. It just makes me feel happy and at peace, and just one I recommend to everybody. Question number 2 is The Riddle, which of course is the second book in the Pellinor series, and for this one you need to choose a book that kept you guessing till the end. I'm giving this to The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is a Victorian mystery novel. Wilkie Collins is actually a contemporary and friend of Charles Dickens, and he's known for producing one of the first locked room mystery novels. This is not it, though. That was The Moonstone. This is A Woman in White, which actually has a mistaken identity mystery, and it's really good. It's full of some twists and turns, and it's one that I definitely recommend, and it's actually a fairly accessible classic to pick up, I think, and it's one that I enjoyed, and I definitely did not see where the story was going, so it was a very surprising ending. Question number 3 and book number 3 is The Crow, and for this one you need to pick your favorite animal companion. I don't have the book with me right now because I'm actually lending it out because I want everybody to read her books, so is that really surprising? And that, of course, is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, because this is a book in which we get introduced to the character of Night Eyes, which is Fitz's wolf companion bonded animal. I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't read the series, but I love Night Eyes. He's a fantastic character. I've always loved wolves anyway. They're one of my favorite animals, and this book just kind of, you know, fulfilled my love of wolves. It made me love wolves even more, and I love Night Eyes. He's a wonderful addition to the series and a wonderful character. Question number 4 and book number 4 is The Singing, and for this one you need to choose your favorite series ending. I'm going to give this one to Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb, the 3rd book in the Tawny Man trilogy. This book is amazing and hands down my favorite series ender of any series ever. I typically don't like the ends of series because I hate it when things end, so the first books usually tend to be my favorite. Not so in this case. Not only is it my favorite conclusion to any series, is also my favorite Robin Hobb book. The last 200 pages had me in tears for a good chunk of it, both happy and sad tears, and it's really hard to make me cry, so that's pretty impressive. A nod to Hobb's writing, because clearly she's an excellent writer to evoke that kind of emotion in me, so it's an excellent conclusion to a wonderful series. The next question is The Bone Queen, and for this one you need to pick your favorite villain. I'm going to go with Ebenezer Scrooge from The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I like Ebenezer because deep, very deep, down inside, he is actually a fairly decent person, and being able to see his transformation from a horrible person to somebody that discovers that he can actually be good and kind and not be seen as weak is just really beautiful. Like the ending chapter with Scrooge is probably one of the most beautiful chapters in literature. I love his transformation, and he is just one of my favorite villains because of that. I think it kind of highlights that you should never give up on people. Everybody can change. And I just really feel for you, Ebenezer. You got this. You can change. And you did, because clearly everybody knows this. I need to stop rambling. The next question is Maerad, which is the main character of the Pellinor series. And for this one, you need to choose a main character who isn't perfect. I'm going to go with Alana from the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamara Pierce. I love Alana. She's a very flawed character. She's not perfect. She makes mistakes. She makes some horrible decisions, but she still tries to do what she believes is right and kind of help fight for those who can't fight for themselves. And I think she's a wonderful character and definitely one of my favorite female protagonists and one that I think fits this question very well. The next question is Cadvan, and for this one you need to choose a mentor or teacher from a book or series that you would like to be taught by. I'm going to choose Father Chains from the Lives of Locke Lamora. To be real, Father Chains is probably not the best role model, but he really did care about the kids and he tried to help them and teach them and, you know, teach them to survive in the world and still be decent people. And I think deep down he was actually a really good guy and that you could probably learn a lot from him. And to be honest, they did all learn a lot from Father Chains. And I think he's a very underrated father figure and I really, really liked him, especially in the later books. You really realized just how much he loved these kids. So I think he would definitely be an interesting person to at least kind of learn a little bit from, you know, might learn a different perspective on the world. The next question is a speech, and for this one, you need to choose a book with a unique magic system. For this one, I'm actually going to choose the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, of which I'm not going to take out the books because they're in a box and they're really hard to take out, so I'm lazy. This magic system in this book is based on metals, so by ingesting different types of metals, it gives you different types of powers, like pushing and pulling away from other metal objects and things like this. And I think it's a really interesting and unique system that you don't really see very often. I like it when authors used really, really innovative things in their magic system. So not just like, oh, they have magic that they can just magically use because it's magic, yay magic, but they actually add some scientific element to it. And I think that's what really made it unique and quite interesting to read. The next question is Elementals or Elidhu, which I know I'm saying wrong, but that was the name of like the fairy-like creatures from the Pellinor series, so forgive my horrible pronunciation. But for this one, you need to choose a book that has legendary or magical creatures. For this one, I'm choosing the Immortals Quartet by Tamara Pierce, because in this series, we get introduced to all of the mythological and mythical creatures from this world, basically the creatures from the Immortals realm, and I was really, really interesting. I like seeing this different dynamic, particularly it made it really different from the Alana series, the Song of Lioness series, because you have this addition to these mythical and mythological creatures, and I really liked it, which is why this is one of my favorite quartets by Tamara Pierce, plus Dane, who can talk to animals, and that's an ability I've always wanted. And finally, Pellinor, the last question. For this one, you need to choose your favorite fictional place. I usually give the same answer, and it's never going to change, and that is Middle-earth by J.R.R. Tolkien. I choose this for many reasons. A, because it seems like a very, very gorgeous place to live in, basically New Zealand, and B, because it was my introduction to fantasy, and I fell in love with the world, and it's something that's always been close to my heart. The whole series is very close to my heart. This is what started me on my love of fantasy. But I don't know, I would love to see Lothlorien and Hobbiton and just all of these amazing places that Tolkien described. I think it would be fantastic to be able to see those if they were real. So definitely always going to be Middle-earth. Right, that is it for the Pellinor Book Tag. I'm going to tag a few people down in the description box or on Twitter. You guys can do this no matter if you read the series or not. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you do because it's amazing. I'm also going to be linking Pippa's blog down below, so be sure to check it out because she really does have a fantastic blog. And thank you for creating this. It was an amazing tag. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.
I think the struggle is real. The struggle is real.